friends, our neighbors from Tanzania, if we have wronged you in any way, forgive us. Our friends from Uganda, if there is anything that Kenyans have done that's not right, we want to apologize if there is anything. To our children, if there is any misstep, we apologize. To our neighbors, if there is any misstep that we have done, we want to build the relationship that will make our country great and will take us forward. And to each and every one of us, I know today God in his own way has made it possible for us to build the bridges between our political parties. We now have a broad-based government that brings us more people, more citizens, more into one ecosystem that we can plan together, we can work together for the greater good of our nation. The Word of God tells us how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to live together in unity. It is in God's perfect will and plan for us to live together in unity across political divides, across our communities, across our religious divides. We live together in unity because there is a reason. Verse 3 says, where there is unity, God commands a blessing. There is a dividend for unity, and that dividend is God's blessing. And so, friends, as I speak to the future of this great nation, I will paraphrase the words in Daniel 11:32 that say, for those who know their God, they will be strong and they will do great exploits. Because as a nation we know our God, the God we believe in, this nation is going to be strong and we are going to do great exploits. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless our country. God bless our neighbors. And God bless our friends who have come to join us today. Asanteni sana. There are many people who had given up on the economy of Kenya. There are many, including very senior people globally, who told me to my face that what will happen when Kenya defaults on its foreign obligations. And I told them, I have great faith in my country. Kenya will not be among the nations that will default. I want to thank the people of this great nation, Kenyans, who wake up early, sleep late, work in our farms, work in our factories, work in offices. Many people who commit their talents, their energy, their expertise to get Kenya moving. Because of them, our economy today is different from what it was a few years ago. Inflation was at 9%, 9.6 to be exact, 3 years ago. Today, inflation in Kenya is at 4.1. It had actually gone down to 2.8. Our exchange rate was at 167. Today, for the last 10 months, our exchange rate has stabilized at 128, 129 shillings to a dollar. Today, our foreign exchange reserves are stable. Yesterday, I had an occasion to look at the numbers with Rosalind, our principal secretary for diaspora. I don't know whether she's here. And speaking to diaspora and what they are doing in supporting our nation, in the last 2 years, people in diaspora have contributed resources to Kenya, going up from $4 billion. Last year, we reached $4.95 billion. In other words, our diaspora has contributed an extra close to $1 billion for the development of our nation. And so we can count as a blessing that God has healed our economy. I also want to thank God for what He has done to us, especially in our agricultural sector and food production sector. A few years ago, not too long, we had stunts in our streets because of unga. I must say, and I must thank God, that God has given us favorable weather. And we want to thank God for the rains in our nation. For the last 2.5 years, we've had favorable weather. Our agriculture is doing well. We have increase in our tea sector. We have a better paying coffee sector. We have reformed our sugar sector. It is doing well. And our tea and our milk dairy sector is equally improving. We thank God for the blessing of having food on our tables, for having our agricultural sector moving in the right direction. Doctors treat, but God heals. And for a very long time, proper medical care was a preserve of the people who can afford and the people who have the means. We have, as a nation, tried for a very long time to have a healthcare infrastructure that supports everybody, that gives every Kenyan a chance. I must thank our doctors. I must thank our nurses, the medical people in the medical space. I must thank members of parliament. I must thank governors who work with us to make sure that the rollout of a healthcare system that gives every Kenyan a fair chance, whether they have a job or they don't. Today, we have testimonies across Kenya of what universal health care, Taifa Care, is doing in our nation. I must say, I am very proud that we have moved the number of Kenyans who today are registered on our universal healthcare space from what it was, about 8 million Kenyans. Today we have 22.5 million Kenyans who are in that space. And the good news is that every day, I mean every single day, approximately 50,000 Kenyans register voluntarily on our universal healthcare portal. And the future is going to ensure that no Kenyan is left behind on such an important subject as the health of the citizens of our country. And it hasn't happened because of one person or a few people. It has taken the collective effort of all of us as a country, as a nation, to get ourselves where we are. I want to ask us as a nation, as a people, to work together, to do less of finding fault and to do more of building bridges that can make us even a greater nation. I stand here to tell you that I am confident about the future of Kenya. And I have no doubt in my mind that Kenya is truly a blessed nation. And the future of our country, no matter what happens, is going to be greater than. I had a moment of great reflection last week when I went to hand over keys to the first 1,080 homeowners, people we have given a chance because of our housing program. People who live, families who share one toilet, like 5, 6 families in our slums. People who otherwise had no hope of ever owning a home. Today, they live with dignity. And it doesn't stop at the 1,080. Tomorrow, I will be handing over more keys in Kisumu. On Friday, I will be handing more keys in Homa Bay. The week after, I will be handing over more keys in Machakos. And that process is on. We have 150,000 housing units under construction. And it is my belief that we will have more homeowners. We will give dignity to many more Kenyans. And I must say, this has not happened because of a few people. Patriotic Kenyans, Kenyans from all walks of life, have made a contribution. The people who are making their contribution to the housing fund, the engineers, the masons, the carpenters, the electricians, and everybody in between have made their contribution as we rebuild our nation and lift people from a place of indignity and put them at a place where we can all be brothers.